Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Welcome to March Canning Madness. This is my second video in this collaboration, and my good friend Constance over at A Good Life Farm is putting on this collaboration where we are all going to be making canning videos every Monday through Friday for the month of March. Between all of us, we're going to do one video every Monday through Friday. And I'm really excited about this one because we're all just kind of clearing out our freezer, and that's what we're doing right here. We are actually getting ready to move, hopefully soon, and we have a freezer full of meat. So I have just all through the last couple of months, that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been canning like a mad woman, all different kinds of recipes as well as just kind of some raw packed meat, and I'm really excited to bring this one to you because this is a great alternative. If you are processing your own chickens, you don't have to put them all in the freezer. You can easily break them down day of. For this collaboration, I'm really excited about it because Constance, at the end of the month, she's going to be giving away a steam canner. And I'm really excited about the steam canner. I hate water bath canning. It is one of my least favorite things on planet Earth to do, especially when it comes to quart jars. So I'm really excited to see this steam canner in action. I'm super excited about it. I'm gonna have to look up some videos on it. So for the giveaway, in order for you to enter to win this steam canner, you need to go and watch all of the videos in this collaboration and comment on each one down below. You want to make sure while you're there, you're going to hit that little subscribe button and subscribe to all these wonderful channels that are part of this collaboration. And then at the end of the month, Constance is going to draw a winner to win that from the comments. So super duper exciting. I'm going to link all of the channels down below as well as the playlist. You can save that playlist, and Constance is going to be updating that every day, so you don't have to worry about if you miss a video. If it's out, it's going to be on that playlist. So we're going to go ahead and start breaking down this chicken. I'm going to be doing both of them because I'm going to be putting the legs, the drumsticks and the legs. We're going to be putting those in the quart-sized jars whole, and then we're going to be breaking up the breast and canning that just raw pack. So it should be pretty exciting. I have found this to be a really helpful way to break down chicken. You can leave the skin on if you like, or you can take the skin off. I like to take the skin off, and the reason that I like to do that is I like to save it, and we're gonna actually be making some schmaltz with it. I have one video on my channel where I made schmaltz before, and it's rendered chicken fat, but I did that from actual blobs of chicken that I got from laying hens. This time, we're gonna do it from the skin, which is gonna be a different part, so make sure you stay tuned for that video. And then also I like to take the leftover cavity, like the carcass that's left over, I put them in a Ziploc bag and I save it for making broth later on. So there are a ton of uses just from this one chicken. Well, just from this, there's a ton of uses from these chickens. How about that? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bring you guys in close. We're gonna finish sterilizing the rest of our jars, which you do not have to do, but I like to do that when I'm canning most of the time. So I'm just gonna bring you in and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I'm doing one of these, and then we'll go ahead and just plow through all of them. So we'll start with a nice juicy one. I'm gonna drain this one in the sink real quick. Boning knives are very helpful with this, but not required, but helpful. Nice if you got them. You got the chicken. Should probably get a bag or something. There we go. Okay, so I need a bowl. It's been a minute since I've done this on a large scale, so we're just basically breaking down the chicken. And so we're gonna take and cut through the skin right here, and then you kind of tear it, right? You can do this with homegrown chickens, you can do this with store-bought chickens. We're just canning up some delicious chicken, right? And then when you get down to this part, cut across here, and you'll feel like a bone right here, like a joint, and so you're going to kind of pop that out and then cut up underneath it. You should never be, I don't think there's any part of this where you're cutting through the bone. Most of it will give way pretty easily. Same thing with the wing here. I don't really typically can the wing. My husband really likes to have wings, so I freeze these up. But we are trying to clear out the freezer, so just be real careful, especially when you have a sharp knife. Sharp knife is a safe knife, but you still have to be careful with it. Because I've cut myself many, many times with these really sharp bone knives. A lot. It's always right here. And then, so for the breast, you can see there's like a clear separation right here. You're kind of just going to cut down that line and follow it down to the cavity here. That's kind of fine. So we got our one carcass and our skin. We're going to set those aside, but the rest of this is going to go into the canner. Okay, so we're just going to slice up these breasts, whatever size chunks that you want. And there's a lot of different reasons that you might want to can these up. For me, I like to make sure, I like to have canned chicken on my shelf, period. And it is so handy. You just dump it into any kind of a recipe. You can make a quick casserole. Well, we don't really make casseroles, but we tend to make more stir fries. And just adding it in there is such an amazing time saver. It takes a long time to cook chicken. So it's just nice to be able to dump it in there. It's cooked. You can add it at the end of whatever you're preparing, and you don't have to worry about it cooking all the way through. And it's, you know, I'd rather have it in my pantry at room temperature, perfectly shelf stable, as opposed to taking up room in my freezer. If something were to happen in the freezer, you know, I mean, not necessarily out of fear, but just out of caution. Like, you just, with everything that's happening in the world right now, you just, I mean, it's likely that everything's gonna be fine, but it's not a guarantee, and you wanna make sure that you're prepared if anything should happen, because if your freezer goes out, you have a very limited amount of time to get that food eaten or preserved. And if you don't have power, it's gonna be really hard to preserve it. Not impossible if you're prepared, but I just like the peace of mind of knowing that this stuff won't go bad if the power goes out. Okay, so that's the breast there, and then we're gonna peel the skin off of these legs and break them apart one more time. And you can see right here you have the thigh and then you have the drumstick. We're going to break those apart. And the way that I do it is just down here, kind of tearing it up a bit, making sure you find where the joint is so you can kind of cut it near where the joint is. Try and get a good clean cut, which that didn't happen. But it doesn't matter. It's just aesthetics. Of course, this would happen when I'm trying to show somebody how to do it on video. That's the wrong way to do it. Okay, I cut a little bit too far. So let's try it again on this one. There we go. So we're gonna cut, that time I cut a little too far on the drumstick side. Now we're gonna cut a little bit more on the thigh side. Hopefully we'll get in the right spot there. go. Okay. So it helps to use wide mouth jars with this, but I'm trying to just use the jars that I have open, so I'm not going to stress it a whole lot. So we're going to go ahead, and I like to just load it up. I load it up with the ball side, what we call it, the ball side further down for the first couple, and then I will come through and flip them just to get them crammed in there really well. And then with the thighs, I just put them in there. I mean, there's not really any rhyme or reason. I kind of try and layer them on the bottom, but you want to just pack them in there as best as you can, really, is what you're going for. And then with these, the breast, you're just going to put them in there to the 1 inch head space. And then you're going to stop, and you're going to try and push it in there, you know. So, here we go. One chicken is just slightly more. Actually, no, I take that back. It's 1 1/4 inch. They just changed it. I just remembered. So 1 1/4 inch have head space on the chicken. I don't know why they changed it, but they did. So we're gonna follow the rules. Okay, so there we go. That should be good. So you can see how much space one chicken takes up. This only is gonna go in the freezer. These may go in the freezer, but we're also probably going to come back and come up with some kind of a canned wings recipe. We'll see how that goes, but in the meantime, it will go back in the freezer, unfortunately. But you don't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead, can all these guys up, and then I'll bring you back when all of our jars are full for the next step. So the next thing that we got to do with this one, I need to kind of fiddle-faddle with it and get the pieces and the parts in the right places between the two jars. I want to fill this one up by kind of taking some out of these other ones so we can make sure we get that 1 1/4 inch of headspace. I think that'll help things very well. I think that'll end up being like perfect spacing for this. And then we need to go ahead and wipe all the rims, put the lids on, put the rings on, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys in close for that so that you can see it. And then with this, I have it showing on my house here in about 2 hours, so I'm not gonna be able to actually process this right away. So I'm gonna go ahead, put all the lids on here, get everything ready, and then this evening, once the showing time has passed, we're gonna pull them out, kind of let them settle at room temperature, and then throw them into the canner. Before we're ready to wipe these rims down, if I can speak correctly, I wanted to go ahead and take this opportunity to let you know about the kind of lids that I'm using. I'm gonna be using these from 4 jars. These lids are fantastic. I have used these several times. I have yet to have a single failure on these. They are much thicker than the competitors. As far as the metal is concerned, it's much thicker. It also has some stainless steel in the composite so that it is, I don't know if composite's the right word, but it has some stainless steel in the actual metal part of the lid, so it is much less likely to rust than versus some of the other ones. And the silicone on it is very thick, and I haven't had a seal quite as good as with these ones. When you pop the seal, like, you can tell how good the seal is, and these suckers are on there tight. This has a fantastic seal, and I love also that it is an American-owned company. It's a newer company because they came up out of the lid shortage that we've had and decided to fill in the void where other companies had stopped production or pulled back on production or were not able to keep up with production. This company came in and just started they picked up where other companies fell short, and I really like that they themselves wanted the lids and they couldn't get them, so they're like, you know what, we'll just make them ourselves. And so that's what they did. I'm gonna put the link to their shop site down below. If you click on that link and if you use the coupon code Fermented10, you're gonna get 10% discount on their already really great prices. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna wipe all these rings with some vinegar on a paper towel, put these lids on, and put them in the fridge until we're ready to can it up tonight. And when you're tightening these, you want to do what's called fingertip tight. And the best way that I've found to do that is with these 3 fingers. You just put it on there and just these 3 fingertips. You don't want to, you can crank it pretty good with these 3 fingers, but just these 3 fingertips, it's like a torque wrench basically. And then you get the perfect torque. See, just like that. So I'm going to do this to all of these, and then we're going to go ahead and process these in the canner tonight. I'll bring you back and show you that just so you can kind of see the process of pulling them out of the fridge. And then we will can these up in just a bit. And then this one, like I pulled this one aside, I need to pull out one of those. I think we had a big rooster, and I think his leg is just a little bit too tall for the jar. So we're gonna pull that out and cook that somewhere else. So we're back and we're ready to actually load up this canner. It has been a few hours. I pulled the meat out of the fridge about an hour ago just to kind of let it come up to room temperature. I don't know how important that is, but I've heard that you're supposed to do that. So it's perfectly fine now. I'm not gonna stress it. So I don't know if I've ever shown you guys this, but this came up in conversation today, so I figured that I would point it out to you guys. I use this canning burner, and basically you can kind of see the difference. It is significantly taller, both in the what is this, the bowl, as well as the little stand, the little, I don't know, it's taller. It comes off higher off of the stove, and so it gives a little bit more clearance for you to be able to can without damaging your stove. And also with newer canners or newer stoves, they come with this weird little safety thing that's actually very unsafe. And so this canner, it doesn't make it perfect, but it makes it a lot easier to use. It makes it not freak out as much as it does otherwise. So figured to point that out. I'll link it down below if you guys are interested in it. It works great for a lot of different things. So we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna load up our canner, making sure it's fairly even on here. I have 5 minutes before my live stream starts, so I'm trying to hurry. My husband is gonna babysit this for us while we're doing the live stream. So we're just gonna load it up in the canner. And since we have different size jars with, that really hurt a lot. Put my finger on the corner here. So since we have different size jars with different size lids and different everything, we're gonna kind of make sure that we're staggering them inside here to make sure that everything can rest on there evenly. I hope that makes sense. It probably doesn't. That's fine. Okay, so there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this divider in there, this little separator, and then we're gonna put the rest in here. What? Oh, we're so close. I thought I'd have extra. That made my day. I don't have any extras. I totally thought I would have like 3 extras. That makes me so excited. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put the lid on here. We're gonna make sure to check through the vent pipe here. We can see through it very well, and just everything else is in good functioning order. So, I'm gonna put the lid on here. Make sure it's all even. Best way to do it that I found is just using this thing, and you just kind of, you stick it in there and just kind of poke it around. I don't know, all the different sides, pardon me, until you kind of get the gap pretty much even. There we go. And we're just gonna kind of get all these on here at the same time. There we go. And then we're gonna crank it. First time you're not cranking it, you wanna make sure the whole thing with this All American canner, you wanna make sure that it's all even, because if it gets uneven, it's gonna be not impossible, but difficult to get off. So there we go. I'm gonna crank the heat up to high. And then when this thing is going to take a while to warm up, the All-American takes a while. When this thing starts to spew steam, we're going to go ahead and set our timer for 10 minutes. And when that thing has been venting for 10 minutes, we're going to put our weight on here, and then this thing will start to rise, and when it gets up to the 10 pounds of pressure, it will start to jiggle. And when it starts to jiggle and we've regulated the heat, we're going to set the timer for 75 minutes. And then when that 75 minutes is up, we are going to turn it off and walk away, and probably not come back to it until very late this evening, if not tomorrow, because the All-American takes forever to cool off. So it is more than the next day, and we're ready to go ahead and try out our chicken. I wanted to bring you back and kind of show you how this type of cooking of the chicken can really help it to be. I know some people, I don't find this issue, but a lot of people think that like thighs and drumsticks can be kind of tough. I don't find that. I prefer them. I generally will always cook with thighs or drumsticks if given the opportunity. But so I wanted to bring you guys back, and I want to show you kind of what these look like, and we're going to pop them in some soup that I'm going to have for lunch. So currently I am working on healing my gut. I have some gut issues, and so I'm doing very low carb. I'm trying to do a bit more of a soupy style thing. So yeah. That's why we're doing this. This is actually, it's just some squash soup that I made. It's literally just chicken broth and zucchini blended up with some salt. It's really, really delicious. It's a very simple soup. It's something that you can go through your zucchini using. You can also, if you are not doing low FODMAPs like I am, you can add onions and garlic to it and make it even more delicious. But in the meantime, we're just using some herbs. I don't know why I'm telling y'all this is a chicken cooking video, but I figured you might want to know what I'm cooking. So I figured I'd tell you, because most people are going to be like, hey, what's that? Okay, so we're going to cook this with, I think we're going to do thighs. Because thighs is something that my husband really prefers, so he will be more than willing to eat the extras later on. And we're also going to go ahead and use the narrow mouth jar, so you can kind of see it's not that difficult to get these out of the jar. I say that now, and of course, probably as soon as I open this thing, it's going to be terrible. Okay. Oh, forgot to show you. Hopefully you guys heard how secure that was. I meant to show you. Okay, so basically, we're just going to pull this out of the jar. And it's pretty intact. It's not always intact, but you can kind of see. I want to show you guys. You can eat it right out of the jar. It's delicious. But we're gonna add probably 2 of these to our soup, and you can see it just falls right off the bone. It's so easy. I love it. And we're gonna set those bones aside. They're either gonna be cat food, or I'll probably put them in a bag and use them later on to make some broth. Which coincidentally, I have cooking in my turkey pot thing. Turkey roaster, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so we're just gonna bring this up to a simmer, let it kind of warm up, and then I'll bring it back and show you what we got. So earlier I just wanted to show you that you can cook it. You can eat it right out of the jar. It just tastes like cold chicken, room temperature chicken, and it's delicious. Okay, we are ready to taste our chicken that has been cooked. I mean, I know it's good. I just feel like I want to bring you guys in and show you for real. See, I don't think that it's not tough at all. I think it just breaks apart completely. And it's so easy to just set the bones aside and you have it for later. You can also use the liquid that's on the inside. That's going to be just like a bone broth, basically. It's going to be super tasty. So I'm going to go and I'm going to eat my lunch here. Breakfast, brunch, whatever it is. I'm gonna go eat my food. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you guys head over to all the other channels that are taking part in this collaboration. You still have plenty of time to go watch their videos. Comment down below so that you can be entered to win this steamed canner that's gonna be given away at the end of this month. So make sure you do that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. It helps with all the googly algorithmic kind of things. If you guys are new around here and you enjoy all kinds of videos revolving mostly around food preservation, homesteading, gardening, freezing, canning, dehydrating, all of those sorts of things, fermenting, fermenting. I don't think I said fermenting, but all of those sorts of things. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button right here. Stick around. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have lots of fun. Up here is the video that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're going to enjoy. And then this one right here is my last March Canning Madness video. It is canning this. And then up here is going to be my canning playlist. Make sure you check that one out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.